everybody, this is Kat Scheffler with Cox Talks. I'm here with Bill Eldon, USRowing official, and I was just going to interview him with a couple quick questions from the official side of a race. So, Bill, what advice would you have for coxswains as they're at a regatta? Like, if it's their first regatta, what advice do you have for them?
Okay, so very first regatta, I mean, one thing, there's always a coaches and coxswains meeting. You really need to be there. You really need to pay attention. And I think the first thing you can do is, if you're at a coaches and coxswains meeting and there's something you don't understand, it's really important to raise your hand. I don't understand. Or if we ask you, what does it mean to scull your bow around, and everybody is kind of, doesn't want to be the one that pipes up and says, I don't know what that means. It's important that you step up and ask questions if you really have questions. The coaches and coxswains meeting is normally to emphasize the role of the U.S. rowing official at a regatta. If you actually look in the rules of rowing, I always say this at my coaches and coxswains meeting. It says two things in there to the official at the beginning. What is our role? Number one, safety. Number two, fairness. So that's what we're there for. And it's all about safety. So that means understanding the course, understanding the warm-up area, knowing what the traffic patterns are like, and so on. And then it's just, you're the coxswain. You're the CEO of that boat when you're on the water. So you need to know your schedule. You need to know when your race is. You need to know how long it's going to take you to get to the start and to be in the starting area at the appropriate time. And that's usually discussed at the meeting. The next thing is, what I see, especially for a lot of novice coxswains, particularly with youth crews, is that they don't get a whole lot of training, at home.
That was going to be my next question, is what should a coxswain practice before coming to a race?
So coxswains to practice, you spend every day going frontwards in a straight line, pretty much. Not always with crews beside you, sharing lanes, and not maneuvering. So one thing that happens a lot of times at races, even at the end of the season when we have regional championships, is we can see that certain coxswains have never practiced going backwards, going sideways, sculling their bow into the wind, really maneuvering the boat. You basically have kids that maybe not even have driver's licenses and they're trying to parallel park a school bus. So it's a little different in a crosswind. So at home before those races, if you have one of those docks where you get to row in, row out, and you're always going in a straight line, that's great. But you need to be able to go backwards. You need to be able to steer going backwards, or have your stern pair have the wherewithal that they can maneuver the boat into the start dock when you're in the bow, or when you're in the stern of a 8 and you really can't see behind you. Your rowers need to know how to do that. You need to make sure that your people up in 2 and 3 seats know what it means to scull the bow around, because when you get a crosswind and you really have to scull the bow around, what drives officials crazy and delays races is you don't have a good point. So 2-seat takes a gigantic big muscle stroke to get your point around, and now you've pulled off the line, and now we have to start aligning again. So knowing how to maneuver in, knowing how to scull your bow is really, really important. And then just making sure that if you're at a course where there is a crosswind, you may need to keep sculling the entire time. You can't stop, because now you've lost your bow again. So just keep sculling until you hear the start commands happen, where they start announcing the crews are saying we're going to go to a quick start. Then you can stop sculling, because then we're going to start the race right away.
We've talked a lot today about flexibility on the side of the officials, but it's also true for coxswains. There's a lot of delays. There's a lot of things that can happen. What are some of the things that, can and will go wrong at a race, even when you're out on the water already?
Even when you're out on the water already, things can go wrong. There's always breakage. There's always weird things that happens. There are delays in racing where your race time gets changed, or sometimes lane assignments get changed. Weather changes. You just need to be able to kind of go with the flow. Right. As I told her before, our Southwest referee motto is Semper Gumby. Always flexible. You always have to expect the unexpected, and if you're cool, calm, and collected, everything will be fine.
Stay calm. We've seen reads on the course today leading to a 2-hour delay.
2-hour delay.
A lot of changes happening. And then lastly, what do you expect out of an experienced coxswain that you're looking for to help things run smoothly?
So the most thing that an experienced coxswain can do for you is be at your race on time, be there ready at the start, be able to maneuver your boat into your lane and get onto the, get onto the start dock or the boats or whatever they have, or free floating like today, to be able to kind of maneuver your boat even though there's a crosswind.
Know which way the wind is coming from.
There's only buoys every other lane. Whoops, I don't have buoy lines on both sides. I need to focus on one side, and then know where you are in relation to the crew that's sharing that space with you. And then just kind of having your head about you and being able to focus and pay attention to the officials when they're trying to give you instructions.
That'll help things run smoothly and go off without a hitch and prevent delays.
Prevent delays. We like preventing delays.
Yeah.
And one thing I hate, for me, but also for the athletes, is when racing gets behind. We like to start everything on time, because when you start running behind, then people start thinking, oh, races are running late.
And then they're late.
Mosey up to the start, and now I'm really late because people aren't there on time. So,
right.
Yeah, always assume that the race is going to be on time. Until you're specifically
unless told otherwise.
So.
And even then, be a little bit early.
On time means Rules of Rowing says 2 minutes before your assigned race time, you should be locked on.
In place. So you shouldn't be rolling up to the start line.
You shouldn't be rolling up. Some regattas will not even hold it for you, even if they see you coming. 2 minutes to race time, if you're not locked on, technically you get a warning.
Right.
And 2 warnings, it's 2 strikes in rowing, not 3. So if you've already had a warning for a traffic pattern violation on the way to the start, or you then obstruct somebody at the beginning of the race, and that's your second warning, you're out. Yeah. So be there on time.
Be there on time. Be early. Be 5 to 10 minutes early is the goal.
Yeah. So
awesome.
That's most important.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your work today.
Thanks.
Okay.